Actually,
Recording in progress. We are live. Okay, we have, folks, we have
Yep.
Loan Cow. Is that right? Am I saying it correct? A Lone Cow.
yep,
Lone
Yep.
Cow. Okay. Lone
Yeah.
is also known as
close enough.
Lone is also known as XM in the chat room, and we're going to interview her for the first time. Lone, welcome to the call. And
Thank you, Mel.
let me ask you a couple of stupid questions. How did you hear about XRP? Tell us the
Yeah,
story.
weird story. Start at the beginning?
Yeah.
It's going to be a long one.
It's okay. It's fine. We got time.
So back in 2017 was when I first heard about cryptocurrency, because my friend, she's a business person. So she got to know this guy. And somehow this guy is a businessman, so he knows a lot of connections. And she invested in cryptocurrency with him at first, and she made some money. So she was excited, and she asked if I wanted to join next time. So this is back in 2017, by the way. So when she asked me, it wasn't her who bought it, but it was her friend. So I gave her the money, and a few other of her friends gave her the money, and she gave that money to that guy to invest in Ethereum. At that time, I had no idea what it is. She didn't know what it is, but I thought, okay, it's something new. I just take a chance. So I invested, and she said to me, invest like you're never going to see it again. I'm like, this is a weird investment, you know? And I'm like, okay, we're putting this much in, and now we don't know the outcome of it. But we did take that risk, and we didn't hear from it again. I keep asking her, but she didn't even know which platform it was or where he got it from. She just said, oh, yeah, he bought it. But I found out later that when he bought it, it jumped up to 1,000. So he initially wanted to invest. Of course, you want to invest low, right? But somehow he must have missed the mark or something. When he put the money in, it was 1,000, and then it dipped. I don't know if you remember that time. So she didn't tell me much about it. I found out later on, and now it climbed up. And I told her like a couple months ago when it reached 4,000, I said, you better tell your friend to take it out. I don't know if this is going to go very well. So that was my first time exposure to cryptocurrency. My friend could not explain to me what it was. And at that time, I wasn't smart enough to do research on my own, like the way I would do research now. And then later on, like a couple of years ago, when the C-19 started, and then we started working from home. And then ex-co-worker of mine, we were talking back and forth, and we're sharing stories of how we work so hard, but we can never get anywhere. You know what I mean? Like we just work to have enough to pay for the bills. Nothing beyond there, that we can't get rich from it. So then he said to me, I can tell you something, I'm invested in this business or cryptocurrency. If you want to learn more about it, I can tell you about it. So I said, sure. Okay, let's talk about it. That's when he told me, he got me into investing in Bitcoin. And I joined Coinbase. That was probably the easiest platform to join at the time. So I joined Coinbase. I bought some Bitcoin, and then, the whole process is so complicated when you first figure it out, you first learn. And he showed me somehow we managed in Coinbase, it takes a few days for the funds to go in. But the first batch of the funds came in, like 1,000 came in. I was able to take that money and transfer it to KuCoin. And at that time, he said, get into UTK. I'm like, okay, I'll get in. I did it. I bought some. And I just left it there because I didn't know what to do with it. And this guy, eventually, he moved back to India to get married, whatever. I don't know where he is. I'm like, oh my God, what am I going to do with this? KuCoin, UTK. And before he moved, he said to me, oh, it reach F, like, what the heck is that? What does that mean? And he's like, oh, it means reach all-time high. It's just a new language I didn't even know about. And so I started watching a lot of videos, learning about KuCoin, learning about the different exchanges, how you get in, how you put money in there. Eventually I figured it out. But so I did make some money off UTK. I switched it back to Bitcoin because with KuCoin, you can't take money straight out from there. You have to change back to Bitcoin or Ethereum. So I switched back to Bitcoin. And at that time, I started to look, do more research and finding out more about the news and what's going on, politically around the world. And one of the person that I was listening at that time, I was following a bunch of different people. I don't know who to follow. And my friend just said, get on BitChute. And so I got on BitChute and I started watching videos from, Simon Parks. One of the other guy that I always talk about, QFS, I can't remember, Charlie.
Dr. Charlie Ward.
Yeah, Charlie Ward. So then I started watching them, and then one episode, this was like that fall of 2019, right? Stuff started to come out. And I remember clearly one person said, Bitcoin is going to be gone because the Three Gorges Dam is going to be, demolished and blah, blah. And at that time I heard it, I got so scared because I thought it's going to happen like right away, right? So that time I bought in Bitcoin around 9,000. That time it got up to 35,000. And it was climbing up more, but I got scared. And at that time it dipped down to 35 or so. I took it out. And I invested in something else. And then I told my husband, well, I don't think this is going to happen right away. So I need to get back in. I did go back in. I heard other stories, right? Just keep hearing stuff because at that time, of course, right now we know that there's something going on, right? It's like a quiet war going on. But at that time, I didn't know. It's just a lot of information leaking out. So then I said, okay, I need to get back in. So my husband, I had to talk him into it. And he was okay with it. Finally, I got back in. I bought Bitcoin. And then I got the hold of this video. I started watching YouTube a lot. And I watched, Yvonne, Extravod.
Oh, yeah, I love him.
Extravod. So then at the end of his clip, he'll have Dan Pena would come in, talk about Bitcoin. If you knew who invented Bitcoin, you would get out as quick as you can. Of course, it scared me again. So then I started leaving messages, on YouTube, asking people, what should I invest in? I don't want to get out of this Bitcoin. I don't know what to buy. And one guy said, Ripple. So then I started looking to Ripple. Then I started searching for Ripple videos to watch on YouTube. Of course, I found Brad Kimes. He's one guy I follow for a long time. And he seems to be to connect what's going on politically with the XRP case, SEC and versus Ripple case. So I started following him. Then I started doing research more on that case. And yes, it's low, but then why do everybody's so scared to get in. Why am I getting in, right? But I know who I am. I'm always been the type to like to be different from everyone else. I don't need to be the same as everyone else, right? Yeah. So I've always been like that since I was young. I mean, the way I dress, the way I do things, I don't like it when people copy me, so I started saying to myself, there's got to be a reason why there's this huge case, right? And Ripple, you hear all these good things about it. It's fast. It's so quick. It cost me nothing to transfer, while Bitcoin is taking a chunk of my money every time I transfer. So I knew I was getting into something. I'm doing something right. And then the more research I do, the more coins are in the same asset group, which is ISO 2022. Yeah. So then right now I'm more invested in those 5 ISO coins more than anything else. Every other coins that I'm invested in, it has to do with ERC20 coins, Ether coins. And I don't like it because it costs me money to send. And even though it's a really, really good coin and good project, I just don't want to mess with that, that fees and the whole entire Ether situation, ETHgate. So yeah, that's how I got in.
Yeah. So, look, it's going to have to become very simple at some point for the masses to come in because, like you said, you have to jump through a lot of hoops to make things happen. And if it wasn't for networks like the one we built in our Telegram group, by the way, everybody should join. It's free of charge. If you don't know what you're doing, but you know you have to get into cryptos, here's your chance. It's a school. It's like a university on steroids by a bunch of patriots who everybody knows a little bit about something, and all of them together have the full picture. And there's never been anybody inside our group, for example, that's never been able to buy or sell or trade, for another token, whatever it is you're trying to do. So definitely join, and we give you a quantum financial systems manual, which by the way has been upgraded. Did you hear about that? We upgraded the manual. We have
no, I need to get the upgraded copy from you.
Yeah, just go on the same link, and there's a whole new section on Gesara, NESARA. It's unbelievable. There's about maybe 15 to 20 new hours worth of video on linguistics that tie into Gesara and NESARA, how they screwed us deliberately, where you think this linguistic means something, but it actually means something completely different. It's unbelievable stuff. And thank you to Nina out there. Nina was one of our administrators also, who I still need to interview. I got to get her on an interview. She brought me up to this guy with the last flag standing. I forget the name of the video. I watched it months ago. Riveting stuff, nevertheless. But so yeah, what do you think overall of the service we provide, which is free in the room itself? If you had to rate it on a scale from 1 to 10, 10 being best, what do you think? Do you think we're doing a good job? Do you think that we can always use some improvement? Are we falling behind somewhere? Let me know.
If I have to give you a scale of 1 to 10, probably a 9. And of course, there's always room for improvement, right? I think one of the thing I like about your channel is like the fact it's free. No other channel is free. I'm serious. I've joined a couple of Patreons because I wanted to learn more. But even with that, everybody's got their own way of doing things. They have their own perspective of which coin is good, which one's bad, and I don't always agree with. So your channel is more overall, right? Yes, it has to do with more of XRP, but I've been throwing stuff in there about XR, all these ISO coins. I'm throwing videos in there just because people should know about it. All those ISO coins, they're not connected to Ether or Bitcoin. So the fees are extremely low and they're all connected. I think everybody have seen that a diagram with the QFS, right? There was 5 main coins. Yeah, I really like that. I like a lot of the videos that you put in. I like a lot of videos that you do. I feel like you're getting better. I like the idea of walking through each of those videos. Sometimes they're very complicated, and at first I'm like, I want to know your perspective because you've been following this way longer than any of us have been in. So it's nice to hear your perspective and what you're pointing out to us. And you know way more than what I do. What I know, I only know what I know for the last couple of years. And that's a lot to me. I can't imagine for 10 years how much information you have up there. And so, but the last couple of videos I've sent to you about the galactic, I think that tied it all together for me because I feel like this is a journey for each one of us individually. I have tried to get people on board, with crypto or even just what's going on in this world, because right now we are rewriting history. That's what I feel like, right? I don't know if you agree, but so many things going on is just not in the crypto space itself, but in the political realm, in, history, everything that we've learned is probably not accurate at all. Absolutely. Everything has been altered and changed. So I feel like everything is going on right now is like a climax of what is about to happen, right? It's just the exposure of what's happening. Yeah. So, and then, why I say that it is a journey for each one of us is because some people are not there. I'm probably the only one in my family who's here, because I've been down the rabbit hole. I've been digging in and open. I'm not saying that I'm stuck in one way, but I'm open to learning everything new, right? What is all the possibilities that could happen? and I can make a decision down the line. But some people are not open to knowing or listening to what's going on. And I think that's going to be their downfall. You know, when the time comes, it just might be too much information to take in at once. They can have a breakdown. You know what I mean? If they're just opening to listening, because there are some videos I watch 3 hours long. Okay. And some of the things I have no idea what they're talking about. They're talking about Majestic 12. I don't know if you heard of that.
Yep.
That group. Okay. This guy's decoding all the comms from Majestic 12. And I'm like, some of the stuff it makes sense. Some of the stuff like, way over my head. But
Yep.
It's just the fact that you're willing to listen. It's like you're allowing yourself, your brain to be open to things so that when it comes, you're not too shocked about it. You know, I've heard everything that I'm not even surprised of anything anymore. I mean, you heard of aliens. I mean, that's probably the most outrageous thing, right?
You know a guy by the name of Dan Gurish?
No.
Okay. He was one of the Majestic 12 that you just mentioned. I had very limited contact with him, only via email. Never got the chance to speak with him over the phone. I would love to. Dan, if you come across this video, I want to interview you, buddy. We talked maybe 11, 12, 13, 14 years ago. I don't remember exactly when, but it's a long, long time. Email. Dan Gurish was actually working at area, S4 down in the Area 51 area, okay? It's another division of Area 51. And the stuff that he talks about, I mean, you know, Project Camelot, Kerry Cassidy, who is an acquaintance of mine, you know, they basically said that, you know, that these entities could walk through walls and all kinds of crazy shit that most people have a hard time wrapping their minds around, and they call them demons, and they call them this, and they call them that, and the other thing. They're not demons. I mean, is there maybe some of them that are demonic-like? Yes, I'm sure. Is there some of them that don't like us, that we're nothing more than a food source for them? Yes. But is there most of them that are, you know, want to see us survive? Yes, that's true too, because we are part of the cosmic ecosystem. And if something happens to us, it sends really bad energies throughout the universe. And people don't understand that. It's like a ripple effect, no pun intended. And so, you know, people, what do you think of these trolls who have absolutely, they will never even bother to look at, not even for one split second, what we look at. They've never been down any of the rabbit holes we've been down, but yet they want to come into our room, or they want to come onto our YouTube channel, and they ridicule us, and they make fun of us, and they call us tinfoil hats, and you know all the names, I'm sure. You know, what do you think of these people? Seriously, what is your take?
I think they just don't belong in there until they're ready. You know what I mean? I mean, that's a tough call, right? Whether you let them in or not. Or, to me, I read some of the Bible verses, and they say that don't waste your energy on those who don't want to believe. And you know, it's true, right? That's why I said this calling is not for everybody. When you are ready, when you're ready, you search for it. I have searched for it. You've searched for it. I think everybody who's been here have been searching for it, open to it, and that's why we're here. And one of the things I want to point out is that what I've learned so far from this whole entire, I'll call it scamdemic, is that fear has been put into us, right? All this is just fear. Fear.
Fear has, and then you broke up.
I said that this whole scamdemic is basically people have putting fear into us.
Yeah.
When we are fearful, and you know, we get worried, and all these little negative thoughts come up, right? It's not allowing us to be open-minded. And a lot of the people, including my own family members, who went and take the, you know, like right away, without even thinking twice. And it's just the whole entire fear that gets to people. But then when you hear those videos that I send you, that guy, the last video, he said that the dark side they prey on that. They prey on your fear and your insecurities. So the best thing you do is just to face your fear with everything. Face your fear, and don't let fear get in the way, right? Do your research. When you know the truth, that's when fear is going to go away. Because if you know the truth, then nothing is going to take you down.
Absolutely. Now, let me ask you a question on regarding Gesara, NESARA, and Mr. T doing some, rally tomorrow, according to Phil, which you follow very closely. And I've started to follow him very closely. By the way, I got to thank you, because when you send me the video, sometimes you tell me, hey, go to this minute mark, 25 minutes and 32 seconds, and then listen at the 37 minutes. I love that because it saves me so much time.
Yep, I realize that.
So if there's anybody out there that wants me to review a video, do it exactly, tell me exactly where the places are that I need to review, and I'll just queue it all up and I'll go. It saves me a lot of, believe me, I'm a busy guy, not trying to make any excuses. But in regards to Gesara and NESARA, where do you think it's all going? Do you think we're very close at this point? POTUS, it looks like he's coming back any minute at this point. Any minute, it could still be another 2 or 3 months or 4 months even. You know what I mean? People don't understand the size of this beast. Believe me, you do not want to be in Mr. T's shoes, because listen, he's not, I don't worship anybody. I love the man because he's an astute businessman, one of the most amazing entrepreneurs anybody could ever study in the history of history. He's chosen by some higher power, no question about it, a force. Let's call it a universal force. Okay. And who are we to say, because I heard people say, oh, I really don't care if he comes back or not at this point, and blah, 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 and this and that. People are starting to sort of fold like cheap suits. You know what I mean? And I think personally, and this is still my opinion, I'm very strong on this, I still think he's the man for the job. There's no question. There's not one person that you guys or anybody on this planet Earth can say, let's take this guy, he would be better than Trump. There's no way. He is the most, when you're talking about 5D chess, folks, that's a understatement as far as I'm concerned. This guy is so many steps ahead of everybody else, it's not even funny. And I've told the story in regarding to the jab, and I'll tell it again for the new people that keep coming in. It's not for you old people. You guys know the story. You guys should memorize the story, tell it in your own way, start your own channel. Let's divide and conquer. Do what I do. If you got 18 hours a day and you don't need to get paid, do it. By all means, believe me, I'm not in competition with anybody here. So the reality is that, he had to do it this way. I believe warp speed, and I'll say this going to my grave, warp speed was nothing more than when he realized that the cabal was bent on moving forward with the, plan to depopulate. Okay. You know what I'm talking about. He literally flooded the market with billions and billions and billions and billions and billions of nothing more than placebos. Because I talked to a lot of people. As a matter of fact, I'm going to go back to my cousins in Sicily, because I hear them saying, I didn't get a side effect. I hear a lot of them saying, I didn't get a side effect. There's too many people saying, I didn't get a side effect. And to me, that's because you're not going to get the real deal, folks, and not have a side effect. I'm telling you right now, if you get the real deal, get ready, because you're going to think you're about to die. Okay. There is side effects, major side effects. So therefore, that was nothing more than to flood the market with placebos. Yes, you're still playing Russian roulette. There's maybe a 20 or 25% chance that you might get the real one. I know people have gotten the second and the third one. The first two were okay, no reaction. The third one was bad. The fourth one was bad, and so on. And they want, if you work for a corporation or you work for the FBI here in Costa Rica, like Alex does, they want you to get a booster, another booster. This is never going to stop until we say, no, we're done. We're not doing this anymore. Okay. So because we know that the media would lie their ass off, they can't stand Mr. T. We know that. The media, Hollywood, all the sports figures, because they got everybody by the what? The short hairs. They control them with what? The money. These people are mortgaged out just because they drive Ferraris and Lamborghinis and all that kind of stuff. I mean, not to get off track here. Don't think for 1 second that they can't control you. They can with the money. So, when it comes down to it, they would easily say, hey, Mr. T just came out against the jab. Therefore, the people that are really dying from the jab, they would say, no, they didn't die from the jab. They died from what? The C-19. And they would pile those bodies all the way up to the moon and Mars and Jupiter forever and ever and ever. And that would get everybody to go against each other. Trump would never, under no circumstances, be able to return. Mark my words, because they would pin, the media would spin this thing in such a way where everybody on planet Earth, with as much as however much we love him right now, we would hate him 10 times more than we love him right now. And so because they are natural born liars trained by the CIA, okay, to lie even better. That's where these people go to school, to screw people, to screw planet Earth. It's gonna come to a point, folks. It's gonna come to a point where this is gonna come to a screeching halt. I firmly believe that. Okay, your camera just went out. Okay, there you are.
I know. Okay, I'm back.
We're all anticipating tomorrow's rally in Arizona. I believe there might be some nuggets there. Let's hope Phil is right. I'm hoping Phil is right. Phil, we're on your team, buddy. I hope your intel is perfect, because he just had 500. And yesterday I was watching I only watched a bit of it. I might go back.
I know, yeah.
And he had a 500,000 people live listening to him. Do you understand, folks, that CNN doesn't get 502,000 people listening to them live in a week or 10 days? This guy from his living room or whatever, his little makeshift office that he's got, a nobody with a microphone and internet connection on 5 different platforms simultaneously, 502,000 people. Yesterday, he broke all-time records. Okay, I hope his intel is right. I hope that Brad Barton's intel is right. I believe, looking at the movie I'm looking at, they could be right, but they might be given deliberate misinformation as to the dates, because I will tell you, you're not going to go out and just publicize to your enemy exactly what you're doing, when you're doing it, and when it's going to happen precisely to the minute. It's an impossibility. If you understand that Mr. T has basically, at this point, not only, memorized the art of war, but he's moving according to the book, The Art of War. He's moving also to his own book called The Art of the Deal, which I used to have a copy of it. I let somebody borrow it. I think 3 copies. I lost all 3 of them. But I've read that book 3 or 4 times. And I got to tell you, he's moving according to that book. If you read that book, you'll understand how the man thinks. You can almost calculate his next move on many occasions. When he goes, like when I loved him when Phil said, this guy doesn't capitalize, 7 words in a row. He understands grammar. So he took those 7 words that were capitalized. He took the first letter and put it inside the gematria, and he came out with a full picture of what he was trying to say. And it's riveting. Listen, I don't think Phil needs me to endorse him. He's got enough people following him. I wish I had 502,000 people, tune into me. I don't know, maybe someday, who knows? But in any event, you got to pay attention to a lot of the pieces of the puzzle. I don't think there's any, and I've said this ad nauseum as well, Mrs. Lone Cow. I love your name. It's awesome. It's like, I've said this ad nauseum. I don't think there's any channel out there that connects as many dots right back to XRP as we do. And I don't think there's anybody in our room or anybody on our channel on YouTube that can argue with us the fact that we connect, the low-lie satellites, the nodes that reside on the satellites are XRP. There's no other cryptocurrency, folks, not one, that resides in outer space. And with this interview that you sent me yesterday on James Gilliland, who I've been following, I came across, what's his name? Alex Collier, about 24, 25 years ago. I'm following him almost as long as I've been following Alex Jones, which is like 26, 27 years. And then a year later, I came across James Gilliland, and I was fascinated with all his story in Montana there, how he invites people, and there's crafts that are literally hovering over trees, and or some of them could be a little further away, whatever. Fascinating stuff. And I still want to go and meet James Gilliland. I'm waiting for this whole thing to blow over. You ain't sticking nothing up my nose. I'm not traveling right now. The only thing I'm traveling is my cars. That's it, and locally. And when this thing blows over and they don't want to stick nothing in my nose or any other anatomy of my being, then I'll travel again. But this thing needs to blow over. Do you think we're close? Do you think we're still far away? Do you think this thing could still take another 2 years? Where are you on that?
Well, I mean, so far, Phil was right about this Congress, right? The V mandate that was pushed. He was right about that. He knew exactly what the outcome was going to be. Okay. Right. I think that his past, which we will find out, I think that he's involved in a very, very high level. Okay. Something has to do with the military. Yeah. Yeah, I think we're very, very close because I've been following the RV for a while now. And I follow Mark Z. I don't know, you know Mark Z. I've been watching every day, not the Mark Z, but then you got the Trumptastic channel that I'm in. They talk about that all the time. How close we are. Well, the quieter it is, the closer we are. So you see like all the news and stuff, and you see all this misinformation, right, coming out. And then you see it's just like quiet, nothing else. And they always talk about the 10 days of darkness or whatever, they're gonna have EBS and stuff. I don't know, you know, I hear misinformation about that because first, I remember Michelle Felding that we watched the video on. She said that they don't want to do anything that will be extremely different. They want to make it ease into it as much as possible. So yeah, you might happen, but it's not going to happen to the obvious that they're going to announce it like, you know, big time EBS and all that announcement. I know it's very, very close, and we're going to this weekend. I'm hoping something this weekend, and that a lot of people are saying that. But again, we have to just keep an open mind, right? Because from the video we watched last time, it's just like every time they do a cleanup or they fix something else come up, you know. So the market keeps getting moved, and nobody can understand why. But it is true, you know. You have people who are coming from different dimensions that we need help to remove. It's not just like regular human beings that we need to remove. So in that aspect, I mean, if they don't happen, it doesn't happen on the days that they predict, they have to be an open mind and consider what might be going on. But I think, yeah, we are very close.
I think Trump is doing a fantastic job at keeping the enemy completely guessing and confused. Nobody knows. Yeah. Nobody knows. Even Phil, I think, even though he's been giving right information that we're close, whatever, but if he's, let's say, coming back in March 5th, right, which is coming up, and he tells a guy like Phil who's got, you know, hundreds of thousands, if not millions of people listening to him, because not everybody listens to live. People listen to be rebroadcast, so it's got to be in the millions at this point that are listening to him. You would think that they would give him the wrong information as to when, or, you know, might happen in January, just to throw the enemy off. Does that make sense?
Yeah, there's something else I want to tell you. There's something else I want to tell you from my Mark Z videos is that so while the biggest part of the RV is that the Iraq situation, right? They're reevaluating their currency over there.
Right.
And we're not seeing anything here. Of course, not in the mainstream, not even in our off channels, right? Alternative channels, but they're celebrating over there. And what do you think they're celebrating? Because something must have happened over there, right? If something can happen there, it's not going to be broadcast to us. We won't know about it until probably Monday, because it's a weekend over there.
Do you think it's being rolled out in other parts of the world? Because it was originally intended that it was going to be the United States first, and then it was going to be the rest of the world. It looks like it's happening the other way around.
Well, I mean, with the RV, I heard that Iraq can go on their own. They don't need to go at the same time as us.
Interesting.
So if they go first,
did you ever see that piece?
The world.
Yeah. Did you ever see that piece with Donald Trump when he's at an RV company that sells RVs, and he turns around to Melania, and and says, "Hey, honey, I think we're going to get an RV." You know, it's double speak. and you have to sort of read between the lines.
Yeah.
That's a classic example. You think Donald Trump is going to live in an RV, a guy that's used to sitting in chairs that are gold plated, 24 karat gold plated. He's got 24 karat gold plated sinks and toilet seats and a diamond crusted freaking knobs on his freaking faucet. Are you kidding me? You know, you understand that when he was talking about RV, he was talking exactly about the RV you're talking about that's getting ready to roll out in Iraq and potentially it's going to have a domino effect and it's going to be all over the world. These are the subliminal signs we're talking about. And you guys got to be able to read between the lines. And if you're a troll and you don't understand that, you better stop using Colgate fucking toothpaste. You understand? It's clogging up your memory. It's clogging up your pineal gland up there. It's not working properly. You understand? These people don't get it. I've been not using Colgate toothpaste for 30 years. 30 years. I pay a little more. I pay, $11, $12. I used to pay $11, $12 back in the 90s for a tube of toothpaste because that's what it was back then. And now it's a little cheaper, but back then it was very expensive. People don't realize the level of poisoning that they're going through. Now, there's supposedly some rumors that they're trying to put the vaccines in food. I don't believe that for a second. That could be somebody that has too much time on their hands to try to scare everybody and could be somebody from the other side of the team. I don't believe that the vaccine would survive in food. You understand? So anyway, it is what it is.
Yeah, I just think there's so much misinformation out there, right? You just have to.
Yeah, there's a lot of misinformation.
Kind of
yeah,
vet
there's a
it
lot
out
of
in different places because there's just so much misinformation out there.
Right. There's a lot of misinformation, particularly designed to stress you out. And I like to work in Zen mode always. I'm always in, because I know that I might get there maybe 5 minutes later, but I want to work in the most, even though I don't look like a relaxed guy and I'm really not, but I try to, just pace myself out. It's very difficult to watch some people that think that just because they're stressed out and that they're going to get there faster. You might get there 5 minutes faster, but you also might have a heart attack. You know what I mean? Truth. But we're about.
I know that you watch David Rodriguez, right? His channel, and I stopped watching him because he gets so into it. I feel like it's funny because he always say, I'm gonna get a heart attack soon, from the way that he just gets so roused up and into it. And I think, God, I cannot relax watching his videos.
Oh no,
I'm so tense watching his videos.
I like him more than I like Scott McKay. I really haven't tuned into much of Scott McKay. Scott McKay spends the first 30, 40 minutes of the show promoting himself, becoming a rock star. That's what it's about. They're all part of the movement, but they're also part of a movement to make sure they add some digits to their bank account. So they're looking at it with a little bit of dollar signs. I like all these guys. And by the way, all these guys, Rodriguez, Nino Rodriguez, Scott McKay's partner, Michael Jocko, the lady that supposedly died, that they can't find her body now.
Kirsten W. Yeah.
They can't find her body. Okay. They all XRP. Obviously, Kristen won't be able to spend her XRP if she really truly is dead. We don't know yet. They haven't found her body. We'll let you know if they find her.
I sent you the information. Why are they still posting in her channel? Because I follow her on Telegram. And they're still posting it for the last few days. Yeah.
Shut it down.
Same thing with Robert Steele, right? When he was gone, they claim that he's gone, but then he's still posting. We just have to wait at this point. But anyways, I started following Scott McKay.
Shut off the account and somebody took over the account, maybe internally.
Maybe. I started following Scott McKay a while back. And I know that part of the reason why I liked him was because he said that he likes doing this and he wanted to be free for everybody. So he was not taking on any sponsors. And then pretty soon, he started to share how much he was making. I'm like, oh my God.
Yeah.
People donate, and I think donating is good so they can run their channel. But he started sharing how much he was making. I'm like, oh God, I'm not donating. And even though he makes so much every day, he still wants more.
Listen, if I had to donate channel that I belong to, it would cost me, I don't know, maybe even just $5 a month. It would cost me like, $5,000 a month. I listen to like 1,000 different channels, not all at one time, obviously, but it's crazy. Everybody's asking for donations. Give something like, what we did with Helium, I think was a brilliant thing. Obviously now it's a paid thing, and it's, I did a whole interview yesterday. I don't know if you got a chance. Did you get a chance to watch that?
Yep, I'm gonna watch it. Nope,
Yeah.
not yet. I will.
Yeah, it's a pretty cool debate, and Matt is a really cool guy. So anyway, anything else you want to add before we go?
Anyway, I just appreciate the fact that your channel is free. First of all, like I said, Scott McKay, I liked him, but then he started to I think he has sponsors now. When you start getting sponsors to pay, it just makes me question, are you saying it because you're getting sponsors? Or are you really saying it, truly saying it on your own? And so, yeah, I appreciate that about you. I think continue to do, you're doing a great job with your channel. You have 4 and you're managing it well, And the reason how I knew about you, going back to Scott McKay, was that I was in Scott McKay's chat room. He had a separate channel for chats and separate channel for him. I was in the chat room one time and I saw your channel in there and I joined. And then when I joined, I'm like, yeah, there's a lot of people in here that need help. So I started helping people, but then I was working full time. And so during the day, it was really hard to jump in and help. So that I don't do so much of that anymore. Sometimes I do jump in, but a lot of times I do watch videos and research and I send it to you. And I'm more of researching and gathering information now and sharing that to the team.
Yeah.
Thank you for everything that you're doing.
I want to thank you. Don't thank me. I want to thank you publicly, because you doing a fantastic job, and all the administrators out there do really a great job. And I cannot do this without you guys. There's no way that I can administer 4 different channels, and it's overwhelming. I mean, even sometimes at night, I'm there till 2-3 o'clock in the morning, and I put in a message usually around 2 o'clock in the morning. Overseas administrators, please take over, and then I go to sleep, and hopefully someone's there to handle the trolls. But we're not getting as many trolls anymore, if you notice. I think the word is out there.
Yeah. Yep, we're getting better.
So,
my last word would be,
your internet is breaking up.
My last words for my audience. I'm sorry. My last words for the audience would be, stay calm, don't be fearful, and just keep an open mind so that you can take in all the information and make a decision then.
Absolutely. Yeah. Absolutely.
But after all of this, I would love to do I would join wherever you have a party. I would come there.
I would like to.
I want to meet everybody.
Me, you, and maybe 2 other people. Sort of like what Charlie Ward is doing, but a little bit more towards the XRP and the quantum financial system and all the things we normally talk about. Lone, thank you so much, and thank you again for everything you do in the room. We greatly appreciate you. We can't do it without you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. We'll talk soon.
Thanks. Bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye. Okay. Bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye.